We wait all year for this to happen because you have no idea, you know. And now that I study, you know, the Arahants under Ajahn Mun's actually over here. This is Ajahn Mun,
Okay.
and there was perhaps like I think 30 Arahants underneath him. And you have to wonder, like, out of the billions of people that exist on the planet, why are there just only 30 Arahants? You know, so to me, in my eyes, when I meet a student like you, and I'm like, she's gonna be an Arahant.
No.
She's gonna be. I get, and it's my job to cultivate you to be an Arahant. That's my job, right? That's my job to get you close to it, because I'm not coming back. You don't want to come back. Nobody here wants to come back into
No.
this realm,
No.
right?
No.
Right.
Ah, bless you. I can't even explain.
And I couldn't tell you when I was in Vietnam, I've made some fiery videos, and I said I only want intelligent students. I only want students that know how to give more and take less. Period.
Yes.
If you don't know how to
Yes.
give more and take, I don't find me. Don't look for me. I'm not the one for you. I'm very adamant about my policies, you know, because it's such a waste of my time. I've been lied to by the best.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
just
have.
like,
I've never even seen those videos, but I gotta
oh,
tell you, you're speaking my language, and I could not be happier. I'm the most dedicated person. People think I have a problem.
let me grab my other one here. And we are now live on all platforms. So this is gonna be
Okay.
the last one so I got Instagram there. And this one's gonna be TikTok for all the young people. They're gonna get a kick out of this. So they should. They need to become Arahants too.
Yes, they should.
Okay. Okay, I put this here and I'm on that. Okay, all right. So let us pay homage to the Buddha real quick. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sankhaya. Good morning to all of you on the other side of the world. Good afternoon to the evening to everyone on the west side of the world. As I was carrying on about my days, I received a email from a student. She's here in front of me on Facebook Messenger video. And based upon our conversation and investigation of each other, the investigation of who is this teacher and the investigation of who is the student, came to discover that she is a gem out of 300 million people in the United States. So I stopped everything, activated all of my platforms, and now it's time for me to give her recommendations. Everyone knows that I talk to students to meet them where they're at, and then when it comes to recommendation, I will always ask the student if they want me to record it so they can go back to it, since the entire encounter could be a lot of information for one to absorb. And so here we are. So who is this student? Right now, I'm not sure if she wants me to expose her name, but we're just going to say she to protect the identity of the innocent. And the things that she told me was that I am a student. I'm studying Theravada Buddhism. I'm just trying to figure this thing out. I want to progress along the path, and I want to be useful. What captures the heart of the Venerable Chidao is the word "I want to be useful," because we don't hear that often. That's anybody. Any one of you can look around your life right now and realize how many friends do you have, how many friends, family, whoever, Tom, Dick, Harry, Jordan, Karen that lives next door, that tells you that often. I want to be useful. How can I be of service? So, throughout my entire life, my short 37 years on this planet, that's what I look for is these keywords, because I was one that gives I am that. I am the living embodiment of trying to be useful. And this is the greatest dana a person can perform and give, which is of service, selfless act for the benefit of other people, dedicating one's body, speech, and mind for the benefit of others. So far, she's won my heart, and we'll have to see through the length of time if her words will be congruent with her actions, and that policy goes for everybody, right? That's how you get the truth out of people. Same thing with me. You should not believe what I say. You should watch the teacher and see if the teacher is congruent with his words and his actions. So, so I've been teaching for a long time, and sorry, we're gonna get phone calls as they come in. Some of them could be emergency. So if I pick up in the middle of these sessions, it is an emergency. Um, so going back to that is, yeah. So I've have led by example, and I have challenged the entire world to find someone that grew up with me to make the accusation of, yeah, he took more and gave less. I will disappear out of this planet. You've never seen a monk fly to Mars so quick. um, and so, all right. So this is how we're going to proceed on forward with this young student. Is that the Four Noble Truth, and everyone, and by the way, for the record and for the fun of this video, I came back from Thailand, Laos, Vietnam. You all know that's been 2 weeks. I come back, I give my students exam on the Four Noble Truth. Everybody failed. Everybody failed. All of the students in the classification of, we won't say which classification, but I was like, I told them, I said, I went to Laos, and Most Venerable Ajahn Saidon, the first night he says, hey, we're live right now. I need for you to teach us the Four Noble Truth. And he like put the phone in my face, and I was like, all right, well, this is going to be easy because I teach it often and I meditate on it often. But I knew that it was a test, and I embrace it. And he's assessing. He's been a monk, he's 33-year-old abbot. He's been a monk since he was 10 years old. And now he's perhaps one of the youngest abbots in the world. So I realized, I'm like, oh, he pulled a me on me. And so I gave that teaching, and based upon a short 20-minute of the Four Noble Truth, if he started to form this impression that, wow, okay, well, this man has been practicing the right way. And thus along the 2.5 weeks that I was in Laos, he would pretty much advertise me to top senior officials in the Theravadan world, and we had to know each other quite fairly quickly. And he would tell these top senior teachers who I was, and he says that would be a Vipassana teacher. In certain countries, you have to be a monk for at least 25 years before they could call you a Vipassana teacher. So I got a kick out of that, humbly, because these were his interpretations. It wasn't me pounding my chest and saying, do you know who I am? It didn't. You don't pull that move on people who have higher vasas than you. That's a great way to be banned from a country. Okay, so the Four Noble Truth, going back to it, is that I like everyone who is joining us online, offline, whatever, is that we have to solidify the core foundation of the teachings of the Buddha. And the question becomes, how do I study Buddhism? How do I study Theravada Buddhism? And Theravada is the longest and oldest and still continuing school of Buddhism. It started with us. So we're the originals. And we rely on the Pali Canon, the Tripitaka, the three basket, to get as close as to the truth of the words of the Buddha. And in the 5 original books in the Nikayas, 84,000 teachings, and it is compressed into Four Noble Truth. So, and they've made it so fun and easy for all of us to study and practice the Four Noble Truth. So I'm looking for key elements in the Four Noble Truth. Yes, it's going to be a little bit dry reading it online, and anyone can put Four Noble Truth online, and it's going to be dry, and it's gonna suck in the beginning, just because we're reading about suffering, and it's like, I don't want to read about suffering because I'm already suffering. I'm suffering right now, so why do I have to study suffering? but you have to suspend that view of me, my, and I. Trust me. You have to suspend that view of your own suffering in order to study suffering the Buddhist way, the scientific Buddhist way. Um, Jokes amongst us teachers is that if a student can get past the first noble truth, we're doing great. So a teacher have to be very skillful when teaching the Four Noble Truth. He especially the first one. He has to be very skillful at it because this is a great way to chase people away from Buddhism. If a teacher is not skillful in his words and meeting the student where they're at. Some of the key things in the Four Noble Truth is there is suffering in life, not the other way around. And one of my dear students told me immediately after coming back, life is suffering. Life is filled with suffering. And that's how you chase people away. And so I had to remind her, I'm like, no, 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 we already got it wrong. And before she went off on other sentences, I said, we already got that wrong. Let's go back to it again. Let's think real hard about the first noble truth. So there is suffering in life, the existence of suffering in life. And I just want everyone in the school of Jidao to graduate and teach it this particular way. It has to be done this way. Um, and so that you have the capacity to teach anyone who is 80 years old and 8 years old so that they understand. So, what are these types of suffering in life? And there is birth. That's a big issue right now with the abortion thing and having kids and not wanting kids and, the existence of kids because people just want to get down doing what they do. And oops, there's little Johnny. He's going to be due in 9 months. So, there's birth. There is sickness, which is disease, the existence of diseases, and the ever evolving types of diseases every day, bacteria, viruses, so on, COVID. There is old age, decay, and number four, death. And I will ask you all, what did the Buddha see, the four sights that he saw? Because this constitutes the first noble truth.
I'm sorry.
And it's important to also study the life of Buddha. And my book is not even here. Is my book here? My book. Oh, it's right over there. Let me grab it and show it to everybody. I never get tired of studying his life. This is the life of Buddha by Bhikkhu Nyanamoli. Nana Moli. Moli. Nana Moli. This is the life of the Buddha in accordance to the Pali Canon. So this is different than the other books because this is in accordance to the Pali Canon. We just established that earlier. So it's a small book. It's 350 pages, and you can literally I'm only like right here. It's funny, right? I'm on page 50, and let me read you this beautiful line. Let me do everyone justice today. This is my little bonus for everyone. Beginning from today, Lord, let the Blessed One receive us as his followers, who have gone to him for refuge as long as breath lasts. As long as breath lasts. I struggled to write that down today in the presence of a yoga teacher because I'm always with my book. Any book I give to any student, and by the way, you might get surprises from me like that. I'll ask you for your address. I'll send you books, and then people are like, "Oh my God, I just received a book from a celebrity monk," and the book will look like someone threw a roll of quarters at it because it has traveled with me throughout the entire city and overseas and back. And so it's been through hell, but pretty much because I'm never without a book, never. Because as soon as there's a boring moment from one breath to the next, I will sit and read and reflect and think. And that sentence I just read to everybody, That could take you a whole year to understand that sentence. Let me read it again. Beginning from today, Lord, let the Blessed One receive us as his followers, who have gone to him for refuge as long as breath lasts. While I was in Laos, there was a woman 1,000 feet away from a Jandong's, Sidon's, Done house, and she had lung cancer, and there were oxygen. And I'm telling you, it's so hot it makes hell feels like a place you would rather be instead of there. It's so hot that there were fans in front of this woman and an infant in front of this woman. She had lung cancer, and I saw the oxygen tanks. And these are third world country oxygen tanks. I'm telling you, you see the sight and you just want to die. Nonetheless, be the patient. And I come from a medical background, 18 years of medical background, and I looked at this woman and I looked at the nostrils thing, the oxygen line, and how she struggled to breathe. And I'm not sure if that's from the heat because it was so hot, or or from the inefficiency of the oxygen tank. And let us also remind ourselves what COVID did to all of us when it comes to the breath. It is by and through the breath that we all will achieve enlightenment. It is by and through the breath that you will become an arahant and a Buddha. So therefore, people mistaken the value of the breath. So when I came across that line that I read to everybody, I was just like, oh my God, who formulated this sentence? That sentence alone, you can be an arahant alone with that sentence. Everyone know that. Even a novice monk uttering certain sentences, and if you catch it at the right time, and if you are ripening as a fruit, you become right there and then you just become an arahant right there that day. That day. So that sentence that I just read, and it talked about starting from today. Wow, page 50, right? I just lost the page. There we go.
53, I think.
Yeah, beginning from today, Lord, let the Blessed One receive us as his followers, who has gone to him for refuge as long as breath lasts.
Mm.
Okay, so the first noble truth, maybe we should study the life of the Buddha in order to investigate the first noble truth.
Okay.
Because as we read up or even listen and watch YouTube video on the life of Buddha, we realize that he saw these four sights. So his father Suddhodana, King Suddhodana, sheltered him from, all these ugly things in life, the truth and nature of life. His father put him in a palace filled with beautiful women, perfume, garland, partying, alcohol. Let's party until their makeup drool and dread from their faces. So the Buddha was curious about what's on the other side of that wall. And thus he was like, all right, well, let's get the horse together. Let's go. And when he saw the four sights, which was a sick man, watch me forget, a sick man, an old man, a dead man, and a holy man. And and that is the first three sights that he saw constitute suffering. That was what moved him. And then the fourth sight was the holy man in robes. And oh, okay, all right, all right, all right. I'll call you right back. I'm on a live video. It's one of my students. Sorry, so I have multiple phones, so when one goes off, everything goes off. It sounds like a fire alarm on here. I just got new phones too, so one got ran over. So
Oh my goodness.
so much for mindfulness. The teacher sometimes he's not mindful. He's not perfect. He's human, just like all of us. So Yeah. Okay. So we also look for that. I also want each student to not say, I understand the Four Noble Truth. What do you understand exactly? So you all have to really prepare for some guided reflections and direct examination of your understanding, comprehensive understanding, effective understanding of the Four Noble Truth. And then the other thing is, have you seen suffering? And I'm also looking for key elements that a student is going to tell me what they actually see. What do you see? Um, I mean, if I give the elements, then the cat's out of the hat. And so, I think people kind of like know where I'm coming from with it. I mean, obviously, every academic book or math book is like, well, here's the question, and then the answer is back here. And this teacher is obviously not going to open the answers and tell you all the answers so that you all can tell me the answers, and then you try to fool me. That's not going to happen. So, all right. So I want everyone to also investigate these things: old age, disease, decay, and death. And that's what I've been doing my entire life as a monk, and even as I was overseas. Um, as I was overseas, I went to these places that like the monastery I lived in was had a crematory, and what? So of course, anyone who knows me realized that he was going to run over there, and thus I did. I ran over there and I spoke about death, and this I'm like, death took place here today, multiple times, and in America, we don't have these sites, so we have to try to replicate these sites so that we understand what the Buddha saw. And this is how we're moved towards enlightenment. Is that we have to internalize, see very clearly birth. So if you could like volunteer at a place where you see birth and be around a baby that's crying all the time, and you see the struggling of the mother, and you just see this site and you realize that, wow, I'm so glad Venerable Chidao told me to do this and volunteer here at the Baby Place Bayfront Center in St. Petersburg or elsewhere, or in the OBGYN department, where if you're lucky enough, like I did, I got to stand with Dr. Raymer and saw a C-section right in front of my eyes, blood everywhere. And so this is why I don't have biological kids. Never have, never will. It's yeah. Uh, couldn't pay me enough to have a kid. Um, then you move on to old age, which is in the geriatric department and the nursing home. So that's why our teachers told us to volunteer there and hear all the old people stories. And then disease, shadow with any medical doctor, particularly infectious disease, ID, and you know, trying, I'm telling you, or buy any cheap medical book that's been outdated. Go to the thrift store, pay $2, medical book like this thick, and flip through them, and you see all sorts of diseases of the eyes, conjunctivitis, and all sort of itis in there, serratia bacteria. Um, and wow, you're like, oh, I can't believe that a human can be subject to any of these thousands of diagnoses, thousands. And that's how you learn inside and out the noble truth, and it never leaves you. Earlier, you questioned my clinical background in law and medicine, and yeah, I will never forget the patients that died in front of me. You took their last breath in front of me. I'll never forget, baby Linda who popped out, and I was just like, Dr. Raymer. She was so calm, and all of the OBGYNs was so calm in there. And I'll never forget the cancer cases. Some of these things I just looked at and I was like, it'll never leave you. And that's what's very important in cultivating and making of this monk. And for the rest of you who wants to become nuns or monk, that's why I'm sharing all this with you, so that you will get closer to the experience of what the Buddha saw. So we try to replicate that now with asphalt and buildings. The Buddha saw this out in the street. And when I was overseas, I saw this on the streets. You saw dying people on the streets, laying on the streets. There's bodies everywhere on the streets. Um, and I've yet to publish those videos. I need to wait a little bit and make sure it's appropriate for age and all of that. And I want parents telling me, you know, hey, you filmed a dead body and little Johnny saw that. Uh, but yeah, this is how you don't forget. Same thing with any paramedics and any police officers can tell you, yeah, you know, you ever walked in on a dead body? What did it smell like? You know, and I took a whiff of a dead body while I was chanting in front of the casket, and I was like, oh, I was like, oh, wow, that was death. Um, so again, I think people in the West who are listening to me, they're like freaking out over these instructions. But I'm telling you, we run away from the truth and the nature of reality of things. We don't want to be confronted with death. We don't want to be confronted with sickness. We put makeup on the body.
Yes.
No, you're right, exactly. You know, we're just trying to like push away. That's what we
Yeah.
do in the West. We push away everything in this. You know, if someone falls, you know, we can even stand to see discomfort in human. That's why we have palliative care in hospice. When it comes to the second noble truth, desire, wanting something and not getting it is suffering. Getting something you don't want, like a flat tire, is suffering. So please investigate the different types of desires that humans go through, and you can be honest and self-disclose your own desire, sexual desire, desire of drugs, alcohol, desire of sensual pleasures, desire of, you know, Godiva chocolate that they sell in the mall, desire of Crocs shoes that I'm wearing, whatever the case may be. So I'm looking for these things that give insight that you understand what is good desire and what is bad desire. You can have desires. I'm just trying to look for, are you able to discern, decipher? And the best desire right now you all can have is the desire to achieve enlightenment. And that's a temporary desire. Okay. Um, the desire to end suffering, the desire to extinguish the three poison: greed, anger, and ignorance of the Four Noble Truth that we're talking about. You can be ignorant of everything else, be ignorant of politics, be ignorant of whatever, but just don't be ignorant of the Four Noble Truth. If you're ignorant of the Four Noble Truth, you won't achieve enlightenment. So it's so easy. Buddhism is so easy. I make it so easy for all of you. All right. The third noble truth is that, which is Nirodha. Nirodha is, if you don't want life to suck, stop wanting stuff. And again, to investigate one's insatiable craving and desire about whatever it is that you desire and crave right now. That girl, that guy, um, whatever, that car. You know, I had a professor that just was stuck on Bentley, and she says, "Anyone get me a Bentley? I'll pass this class. I'll pass you in my class." And I was just like, "Wow, that's one heck of an attachment." And every day she spoke about Bentley, and I'm like, you got your PhD from where?" And she did. She did. I got a kick out of it. All right. Then the most important thing is the path leading to liberation and enlightenment is by following the Noble Eightfold Path. So look at right view, which is the first thing. Um, and I'm looking for elements of right view. Okay. And these things are very easy. You're going to get emails from me, Miss J. I will call you Miss J. Um, and screen do those emails, screen do those websites, and read them and take notes on them. And then you're gonna teach me back that. And if it sounds good enough, then I open these live videos again, and now you get to teach the entire world. Then, then, then you go to sleep that night realizing that I call Venerable Jidao. He activated his thing. My voice has now been broadcast throughout the entire world. Now I'm actually useful.
Yes. Yes.
And this year is an unprecedented year where I have spoken to my students, and I've said, please be the best students the world has ever seen. I'm trying to make you the best students, and once I believe that you are capable of teaching the Four Noble Truth, I will hand over the staff. That means Venerable Ledi Sayadaw handed over his staff to Sayatet, which is a layperson. He was a layperson. And Most Venerable Ledi, who was an arahant, said to everybody that this man is capable of teaching what I'm going to tell you, and what I tell you, he's going to tell you. What he tells you is what I'm going to tell you. And this man done taught to hundreds and hundreds of monks, perhaps thousands, throughout his lifetime. So I plan to do that. I plan to hand over my staff, and hopefully multiple staff, to qualifying lay teachers, which is all of you wonderful students. The ability, trusted, entrusted, the ability and capacity to teach the Four Noble Truths to other living human beings. So you can look forward to that. You don't have to be a monastic to have this great blessing from Ajahn Chidao. I'm approaching my 10 years as a monk, so I'm now Ajahn in Laos, not Ajahn in Thailand. um, so I look forward to that. That's what brings joy. Donating money to me doesn't do anything. It just pays for bottled waters. But the fact that it's my true deep and everlasting joy comes from the student being able to demonstrate, see clearly the Four Noble Truth, and that's how I know that. Oh my God, she's gonna be an arahant. She is this close of letting go of everything. And I have true faith, confidence, unshakable faith and confidence that this one particular student is in fact going to enter the stream of enlightenment. So, so that is the great joy, and that's one way that you honor a teacher. And let's honor a living teacher. Let's not wait till I'm dead and then honor me. Let's do it while I'm still alive, and the best way is to follow these instructions.
Mhm.
Okay. Any questions so far that I have, because I've been speaking a lot?
Would you suggest that I get that book and start reading it?
This is a this is not a book for beginners right now.
Okay.
The one that y'all should read is the biography of the Buddha by Venerable He Sung Young. Okay, I'm gonna spell it out. Someone write this for me out there if you guys are watching and paying attention. He Sing. Okay, so Venerable. He's a Mahayanan Venerable. He Sing, which is HSING space Yun, YUN.
Okay.
It's a very fun biography. It's a very easy. It's like 10th grade level reading, and you realize you're like, wow, just like it keeps you turning too. There's like 33 chapters in this little tiny book, so you never get bored. The book was designed that you don't get bored, and it's like, oh my god, just get done the chapter, and it's like, and every chapter is like, I like, it's like, like, whoa, I didn't know that about him. I didn't know that about Buddha. I didn't know that about the Buddha's cousin. I didn't know that about Rahula, his son, and the Sakyan clan, and Mara and his mom, and Mahaprajapati. So that would be the first book to read in order to cultivate faith, confidence that the Buddha was born on this earth, son of this earth, achieved enlightenment here, and subsequently passed away right here on earth. So it just solidifies the teaching, and who was the man that gave us this teaching, and that was our one and only historical Gautama Buddha. So another treat I have for all of y'all is I done dragged this Buddha. This is our one and only historical Gautama Buddha, and he perhaps looked exactly like this model. So this is Siddhartha Gautama from India. So of course he's gonna look a little Indian, and there are special markings on his feet and hand. These are the 32 great marks that indicated, the the wise men, the three wise men that adjudicated that, yeah, well, this boy's gonna be a great holy man or a great leader. And the Buddha became the Buddha for that matter. And this is a very rare. I've never seen this statue hid all the way in the back of this old woman's shop. She was so old. She says, "I'm not ordering anymore," and this is the last one. And this particular statue was so old that it had dust, more dust on it than World War II tanks. But anyone who is close enough to their screen can see our one and only historical Gautama Buddha. Okay. All right. So when you read the life of the Buddha, um, it talks about this great man and what he had to do in his 6 years in order to become fully enlightened and found out the middle way, which is the Noble Eightfold Path, the middle way. Uh, and why does Venerable Chidao, who sits on a panel of Buddhist scholars, sit there and read about the life of the Buddha again and again and again and again? Because it puts me there. It puts me back in India. It puts me back where he was. I live in this fantasy in my head of the First Noble Truth, so that it reminds me that I never want to come back to Earth again and deal with COVID again and deal with the suffering again. Now, a little bonus information. Venerable Han Tue from Vietnam, another young 25-year-old young Vipassana teacher. Goodness gracious. He was talking about Vipassana in Vietnamese, and I caught some of his sentences, and I just wanted to bow to this man when he said, "All right, folks, when you sit and you meditate and you close your eyes, and if the guy next to you smells really bad, note that it's smelling really bad. And also note that it smells bad. The guy stinks or the guy smells because you were reborn again. You took rebirth." The way he said it, he's like, "You took rebirth again. Okay? You did something unwholesome that constituted rebirth. As a direct result of that rebirth, you became human. Part of being human is having a nose. And as a direct result of having a nose, you sat next to this man, and this man so happened to not to take a shower. And now you're suffering because it was an unpleasant smell. And now aversion arises from this stinky guy." And I was just like, I'm dead. I'm like, you did not just use this example. It's such a memorable example because everyone can relate to smell.
Yes.
It's that one faculty that, I've got students and I'm like, and I picked up this gene from my mom where when I like wash clothes, and I am immaculate, by the way. I have no body odor. I don't even sweat. I have no hair on my arm. But every time when I'm washing my robes and I'm like, and my mom's like, "You're just like me." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Nothing smells. I just have this habit of sniffing it. I just like sniffing it. Maybe I'm like my dog Bailey, just like sniffing things." Actually,
There you go.
his robes smell really good.
That's because you cleaned them.
I didn't. He sat for like decades in the store, but the plastic and the robe smell. I don't. Someone sprayed perfume on him. Someone violated the precept and sprayed perfume on him. Well, anyways. So, but then he said, and then he repeated himself again. It's like Venerable Han Tue, Venerable HT, really wanted people to like. He wanted to ingrain this rebirth thing into their head, and I was like, I couldn't believe he went that far. Basically, he was teaching dependent origination. In the same context, this man was so. I'm telling you, I think he's the same. I'm telling you. There was an unprecedented way to teach rebirth, the links of dependent origination, and the First Noble Truth, all in just that one paragraph that he said. But when he repeated himself, and I'm like, all right, we get it. The guy smells. I get it. He smells because I'm a human, and I'm a human because I took rebirth, and I took rebirth because I did something unwholesome, and I didn't achieve enlightenment in my last life. So now I have to do. Oh, I laughed. I laughed for hours by myself. People probably thought I was crazy, but I was like, very smart man, very intelligent, very spiritually attained. So therefore, so along the way, I will instruct you all to study rebirth and study karma. Wait, don't jump the gun. Don't jump ahead of yourself in studying these things, because then you're like discombobulated and there's too much information and you don't know where to direct and when to access that book on karma, when to access the noble truth, when to access dependent origination. Okay. Everyone who comes to me, majority, is not psychologically organized. So let me be the librarian to organize what books and what you need and what software you need to download right now. So don't go off on your own and come back and ask me all sorts of questions. We're studying the Four Noble Truth. Don't ask me about the stages of enlightenment. You just went from ninth grade to PhD dissertation. Slow down, Tigger. Slow down. I'm doing it again. So, so wow, that's impressive. I mean, so yeah, so that is the importance, and I don't think I've ever stopped to explain the importance of studying the biography of the Buddha. I neglected that. I unskillfully neglected that because I am a clinical Buddhist monk. That means I'm trying to focus. Yes, I do, and I will get with you soon. I'm on a live video. Um, because I'm a clinical Buddhist monk, and a clinical Buddhist monk focuses on active suffering right now for the student and trying to put out that suffering quickly rather than, hey, oh, okay, well, I mean, your boyfriend just dumped you, your husband just left you, or somebody left somebody or something, and then, okay, well, let's study the life of the Buddha in the midst of this suffering. A lot of people will probably commit suicide after that. So the recommendation has to be clinical, it has to be on point, it has to treat this active disease of suffering, of anguish, of anxiety, of depression right now, rather than me sitting here trying to advertise the life of the Buddha. Okay. So anyway, so I apologize as I'm not a perfect teacher, but now we're narrowing it down by and through the curiosity of certain students out there in the world. And today just so happens to be that day, where you come to me and I assess you, and the recommendation of studying the life of the Buddha in order to reinforce and ingrain the potency and understanding of the First Noble Truth. And I also forgot to ask you, if is there any active suffering in your life right now? That I forgot to ask you that.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of health issues.
Okay.
And then of course, I have family issues as well.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it suffering as much as I think I've accepted most of it. But it's challenging.
Okay. So we'll learn that. Okay. All right. Good. So we'll learn along the way, and don't share personal identifying information now. So I'd like for you to meet with me weekly.
Okay.
You can choose either twice a week if you want, and don't think for me. Don't be a fortune teller. I'm not that busy right now. Not yet. Anyway, so whatever the venerable is offering, you should take the offer. You can go twice a week or once a week, so that it keeps you on point. So that
I'd like to go twice.
Okay. So you choose Monday and Friday if you want. Okay. You just
That'd be great.
Look at your schedule and let me know so I can put it in my calendar. So that we are on point with the teachings, that we're not lazy, and it keeps the mind fresh while we still have our wits and brain cells. Waiting too long, you forget. And even see some of these younger students forgot. As soon as I took my vacation, came back and was like, what is the Four Noble Truth? and they told me everything except the elements that I was looking for. And I'm still sitting here wondering, how did you forget? I'm tripping, right? I'm a bad teacher, right? I'm an unskillful teacher. I'm telling you, without these millions of followers, I would have been like, no, it's me. No, 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 it's my fault, right? Where's Lord Buddha? Like, it's my fault, right, Lord? But it's me. It's my fault, right? So please nod your head. It's my fault. I don't know how to teach the Four Noble Truth, right? I I haven't. Have I been meditating long enough? You know. Um. So, sometimes I'm just like, this is a different generation that I'm teaching to. I'm just not sure if we have early onset of Alzheimer's in our 20s. I'm not a neurologist. I'm not board certified. So, so I'm just
It's
sitting here.
attention deficit.
Yeah, right,
Mhm.
exactly, right. And the word mindfulness means remember
Yeah.
to observe how your mind is jumping. So every time when you sit and you're about to enter into any sort of mindfulness training, you need to just close your eyes and realize that sati means SATI. Sati means I'm going to remember to observe the way my mind is jumping. Okay, which is trying to look at the monkey mind. Kind of like sit here and like, oh, I gotta pay bills. Oh, I gotta do laundry. Oh, I gotta wash
Mhm.
the dishes. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. Oh, ooh, ooh. Okay. And I do too. Like, I had like two batches of laundry today. I am at my dad's office. I am managing two employees. My God, do they make a lot of money? So that means I have any mistake I make will cost my dad money. So it's like, but yeah, hey, I'm still here. So you learn all of this. You learn how to get better with dealing with life and management of your own life when you study mindfulness meditation. But these are just some of the basic thing I want everyone to just slow down in your life and not jump the gun and don't do too much. It's not worth it. We're not made to multitask. Don't multitask. If you multitask, you will take rebirth. If you multitask, you will come back in the next life and you get to smell the stinky guy sitting next to you meditating. So
I needed to hear that. I don't want. I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
But simplicity, right? And I have so much to share with all of you based upon my overseas trip. But I'm telling, it's so simple. Enlightenment is as easy as sweeping, sweeping. You know, telling you my sentences can enlighten all of you. You all can become saints, but just the one sentence I'm saying. You know, um, enlightenment can be as easy as dusting. So if you have a dusty house, have a dusty computer, go and do that dust thing. Find your favorite feather, the little bundle thing of feather, and go just enjoy it. In that moment, that is moments of nirvana. That's it. Just do one thing at a time. So one thing at a time. And you will progress greater than I am. You all will be better than I am. You all will be better than Venerable Chidao. You just follow my instructions. I'm giving you all of my secrets. Everything I know, learned, and was trained, I'm giving it to all of you. Now, Miss J, you studied Butto technique. I'm going to refine that for you. It's funny, huh? That I practiced that for 15 years.
Oh, okay.
In breath But, out breath To.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In breath But, out breath To. It means Buddha in Thailand. What is a Buddha? A Buddha is one which knows. So breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Sounds very elementary until you do it. But that's all you do for now, so that the mind slows down to prepare you for Vipassana meditation.
Okay.
I know it sounds so simple. You got to do it. You got to do it in this particular way. Okay, in this particular way. Right. I was ordained by a very famous monk, but I wasn't. Majority of my training did not come from him. Majority of my training started when I was 14 as a lay person, as a lay kid, as a kid, as an adolescent from Venerable Bu Feng. And Venerable Bu Feng was just an ordinary senior monk. There was, he wasn't, he didn't have a million followers. He wasn't like this, all these other monks that we've seen in Thailand and elsewhere around Myanmar with like, oh, boo hoo, oh, we think he's an arahant. Da, da, da. Venerable Bu Feng was a very simple man. He chanted with us from 7 to 7:30, and at 7:30, this is his instructions. Sit, close your eyes, back straight, relax your shoulders, relax your face. In breath, but, out breath, toll. In breath, but, out breath, toll. That's it. So if any one of y'all ever wondered, how did Venerable Chidao become this celebrity, famous monk, whatever, skillful teacher, blah, blah, whatever, you name it, you call it, okay? You label me. Because of that instruction. I wouldn't be able to sit here to teach meditation to thousands of people. I would sound like a fool had I not practiced the most simplest way a human could ever practice meditation. And I was not a good kid, and I was not a perfect kid because I had ADHD out the wazoo. Anyone who grew up with me here in St. Pete could tell that I was a bouncing ball. My dad says, you must have needles underneath your ass because you could never sit still.
Yeah.
So it's like, so what is my attainment? I'm not an arahant, but the great attainment is the ability to sit still. And I, in fact, do not have needles underneath my ass, Dad. So my dad's in Vietnam right now, okay? So you always have to laugh with me because that was a very serious problem for me. I just could never sit still, always looking for the next thing. So I just wanted to emphasize the great importance of the Butho technique.
Okay.
Okay.
How long should I do that a day?
20 minutes.
Okay.
Incremental. The longer you sit, the better. Now,
okay.
If Butho does not work for y'all, I teach the 4 techniques. All right. So the first one is breathing in. I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I know I'm breathing out. You have to know. I'm telling you, in a day you take thousands of breaths, but you don't know that you're breathing. Literally, people don't know they're breathing until they're stressed out, and then they're like, Karen, if you don't get out of my face, I will write you that email tomorrow. Karen, I swear to God. So like when we get stressed out, we constrict our vessels, and our body will tell us deep breathing, deep wusa. Okay. So that's why the first technique is important, because we're training the mind. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. No different than writing, that you're writing, cleaning, that you're cleaning. You're washing the dishes, that you're washing the dishes. The great Thich Nhat Hanh, Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh Mahayana, that's what he taught. When you're washing the dishes, just wash the dishes.
Just wash the dishes, yeah.
And everyone, I'm pretty sure all of you very highly advanced, intelligent students are like, I'm done with this guy. I'm not listening to him no more. He studied this long and practiced this long. Everyone pays respect to this guy, and he just wants me to know that I'm washing the dishes. I can read that on Google. No, the practice is very important. The simplicity of the practice is very important. You must do it. You must do it in this way. These are the great masters. These are the instructions of the great masters. So breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. Okay, number 2. The counting technique, which is a little more challenging if you have ADHD, OCD, and all the D's, whatever disorders out there. Okay, we all got them. In breath 1, out breath 1. In breath 2, out breath 2. In breath 3, out breath 3. All the way to 10 and then backwards. The backwards part mess you up. So that's my great challenge for y'all. Okay, just do it. Just do it. And then be like, in breath 9, out breath 9. In breath 8, out breath 8. In breath 7, out breath 7. But your mind can only do one thing at a time. So if you can master that, you can master anything. You master anything. I'm telling you, the counting technique is fun, engaging, and it's like stimulating. And I'm telling you, your mind will be like, "Whoa, what are you trying to do to me?" Well, I'm trying to slow you down because your mind won't. They don't want to slow down. All right. All right. The third technique, analyzing the temperature of the air that you breathe through your nostrils. Analyzing the temperature of the air that you're breathing through your nostrils. So, is it 70 degrees right now? You'll kind of like move around, create some air with your hands, or try to like feel, just feel something. I don't want you to use all of your body parts and faculties and this organ right here and faculties, and just trying to just use this area as a scientific instrument to measure the atmosphere and the environment, analyzing the temperature of the air that you're breathing in this room. Okay, so everyone can try that right now. I know that you're all watching my face, but just everyone just do it right now. Just 75 people on TikTok and elsewhere around the world. So it's a very pleasant thing. Breathing out is pleasant. Breathing in is pleasant. So it's training the mind for that one-pointed concentration technique. I'm telling y'all will look. I'm telling you, or your money back, folks. I teach for free. I'm telling you, or your money back. You will look like this. You want to be 37 and look like me. You will practice this type of meditation because it changes you on a cellular level. The mind is a very violent thing. It takes you forward, which is anxiety, apprehension of the future. It takes you backwards, recycling of the past. Like, oh my God, she broke up with me. She cheated on me. She took my phone. She took my money. That hell that you're recycling ages you, folks, on a cellular level. So when you practice this one-pointed concentration technique of just that, I'm just trying to guess the temperature of this air. The mind and brain focuses just on that in the present moment. And it becomes a habit. We're trying to habituate what's happening here. Habituate this habit. Good habit. And then pretty soon everything you do, you're just mindful. All of this little techniques, you know, seeing a pen, I see a pen. Typing, I'm typing. Like it's so elementary, right? But I'm telling you, it's gonna be you evolve into this guru that everyone's gonna be searching for. You become this very useful human, supernatural power of mindfulness, the power of observations. That's it. Just observe. Just observe the breath. Just observe. People can't even observe the red light. You know how many deaths a year? That's why it's a supernatural human power to just cultivate the the power of observation, just watching the breath. And then the fourth technique is the Butto. So it circles back into the first one. In breath But, out breath To. In breath But, out breath To. Now, let me give you all a little secret, a little insight. $5 million insight. Okay, 5 million. I swear I should charge money. I'll never charge money. I believe it was Ubakin. I don't think it was Sayadaw. I think it was Ubakin. My memory does not serve me well. But so Ledi Sayadaw taught to Sayadaw. Sayadaw taught to Ubakin. Ubakin taught to Goenka. Goenka taught to all of us. Okay, if you went that route. But I believe it was Ubakin that only teaches the mindfulness of the breath and asserted that you can see the three marks of existence in mindfulness of the breath, which I will agree to. I'm not saying that you should not practice vipassana, but what I'm concurring is that you can see the three marks of existence in the mindfulness of the breath, which is what we just described. Because how can we see impermanence? The breath changes, the impermanence of it, the suffering. How can we see the suffering? It's that when you start to breathe and you realize that the in breath takes a lot of effort, you see the suffering in the in breath. And if you try to hold it, that's suffering because it has to escape, it has to deflate, the rising and falling. This is how you master the 3 marks of existence. This is how you're going to become the greatest student ever alive. As you start analyzing the breath and see how the body trying to conform to the breath, the pressure, trying to see the natural pleasure of the breath and the natural resistance, and all these things that you can write a book on just with the breath. So do not underestimate samadhi. Do not underestimate samatha, which is mindfulness of the breath. Do not underestimate that. The anapanasati. The Pali word for it is anapanasati. Like anapanasati. Y'all know how to spell that? A-N-A, P-A-N-A, sati, S-A-T-I. Anapanasati. Okay. A lot of people read this, you read all this stuff and you're like, mindfulness of the breath sounds simple. That's great. I'll never do it. How well has that been working out for you? We're still here today at 60 years old. How well is that working out for you? We're 20 years old, 30, 50. I've taught to 80-year-old. Okay. So again, I wanted to emphasize that heavily because we read a lot and we jump to conclusions and we don't know what the hell we just read and we don't know what the hell is going on. You need a good, qualifying, authentic teacher that's been meditating for 23 years to tell you the importance of the breath. Okay, so that's it. So you're going to read the Four Noble Truth on sacredtext.org. Anyone who's interested, send me email so I can give you the links. At the same time, I'm giving this wonderful young lady. My email is the number 1 Vietnamese interpreter at Gmail. The number 1 Vietnamese interpreter at Gmail. Maybe I should make one that's fun. That's like, I need the links at Gmail, something like that. That'd be so funny. I'd get like thousands of messages. But so the number 1 Vietnamese interpreter at Gmail, if you want, so this is a really good thing right now that we're going back to the basics, which is what everyone has been waiting for. And I apologize if I missed, and I will probably miss a couple of emails. So I'm not perfect. So just bother me if you don't get it. To send it all at once. It will include the comprehensive review of the Four Noble Truths on sacredtext.org. And I think the sacred text is spelled like sacred and in space and in text and in .org. It's a little complicated, but sacredtext.org also have like Hindu and like a gazillion other philosophies and religion. So you have to like find Buddhism and you have to go there. But the links that I have is already set on Buddhism. So you don't, once you get there, you might get curious and dance around and get lost in the website. So I've tailored, someone says, what's the email again? I only said it 3 times. I love y'all. The number 1 Vietnamese, someone type it for somebody, please. The number 1 Vietnamese interpreter at gmail.com. Okay, number 1 Vietnamese. I'm telling you, remember to observe how your mind's jumping. I love being a teacher. So yeah, the links will be there. Read it, and then start on the biography of the Buddha. You will be starting the biography the same time as Bree from Virginia. So I can't wait for both of y'all to sit together and discuss it. Because if whoever's studying at the same time as the other ones, I'll link you all up to it. And that way everyone can have a fun time discussing and be like, oh my God, girl, did you catch this part on chapter 22? Because Bree tend to do that. She'll grab these little small details and like go at it. And I'm like, all right, well, let me link you up with Miss J. You ladies can have at it right now. And that's the best way to learn and remember. because you get this story, you have this curiosity, you get this urge, you want to share, and you meet other students who are like energetic about the story, and you're like,
Yes.
and it's like, I can't believe the Buddha's wife, this beautiful woman, took off all of her jewelry, slept on the floor for 6 years while he was away. That's love. You know what love is? Suffering with your man. She done did that. She she done did that while he was trying to be this.
Mhm.
That's love. That's love. She was in the palace eating good food. She was in the palace wearing gold, diamonds, and jewelry. She took everything off, slept on the floor, suffered with her husband without being in his presence. So, you ladies get a kick out of that. So, anyways, little small details like that. And then when it gets to the ordination of women, you already got what the Buddha said about that. And then
Yeah.
that will open up a can of worms for you ladies when the Buddha said that. And Mahaprajapati, just crying and crying for the ordination, and Lord Buddha will like deny her like 20 times, and it's like, had it not been for, I believe, Ananda to convince
Yeah.
him, it would have never happened. It's like, hello. And then you postulate, if you were there at the time, how would you respond? I would have been like, Lord, please don't play with me. I am tired of asking 20 times. Can you please just do this? All right. So we have a lot of fun studying the life of the Buddha. It's not like all dry and like, you know. So that's what I get, and I add stuff into it too to make it fun. Um, but that's how we will proceed on forward. Okay. Any questions so far?
No. So it's starting tomorrow, I should start reading, do my Buddha meditation, and order the book and move on there. Schedule time with you.
Yeah. So look at the blueprint of your life, which is how do you break up your 12 hours? How many hours are we sleeping? And when we wake up, what do we do? What are our tendencies? And I think people are starting to write emails to me now already. And then from this forward, the commitment to live intelligently and the commitment to live wisely. You've already given me elements that you know how to discern the wise and the fool. So any friends that is an idiot or a fool, let them go for now, so you can practice. The path to this, I want everybody to graduate within like 6 months. I'm trying to compress 84,000 teachings into 6 months to a year. We don't have 5 years together.
Yeah.
And I have reason to believe the advancements of everyone's mind, you all can enter the stream of enlightenment within that time.
That's wonderful. That's what I'm looking for.
And life will be
I want
different.
to be of use.
And life will be different once you go through this method, the way that I'm teaching it, and you taste what I have tasted. It's like there's an apple here, right? Like our apple's really good. Y'all should taste it. Or I'm sorry, or I tell you how good the apple is, the intensity and gradient, where it came from. It came from Publix. It was organic. It grew from the apple tree of whatever, Lumbini, India. But you would never know, right? And you're like, well, that's great. You telling us about this wonderful apple that you're indulging in front of us. But how do we know for ourselves? But if I tell you where to go and find this apple tree and climb up there and grab one and yank it down and eat it, then you're once you taste that thing and you're like, now I know why Adam and Eve did what they did. My point is, on the path of enlightenment, once you have got the basics down, you master mindfulness in the way that it's going to be mastered, you see life very different. You become very grateful, very happy. You let things go, even the minorest thing and even the most grave offenses onto you. And we all know those grave offenses. When someone call you names, someone will call you the B word, call you an ass, call you whatever they call you. And you master like the practice of the non-self. It's so beautiful. You are impervious to life. You are unmoved by things that are good and bad. You are unmoved by death. You are unmoved by these bows and arrows in life. Things that you were so easily moved and was hurt by. And I understand all of your hurt. There's no human out there that has been hurt in the depths of my hurts that I have been through in my life, not as a monk, but as a human. uh, I have received those arrows, and like those arrows, they like went into me deep in my heart and like twisted upside down, and they came out and they came right back in. This my adjectives make you all understand my pain and sorrow in life of being dumped, of breakups, and I've watched a loved one died. In front of horrible. I mean, but if you could have my memories, you would be like, how are you so young and happy? Because of this practice, because of this practice, I let go. That's what we all need to do. That's what we all need to do, is to let go of the hurt, the pain, what they said to us, what they did to us, our parents, our brothers or sisters, the money, to let go. And it's like, wow. And once again, let's go back to that joke that I said earlier, right? We got hurt because we took rebirth. We took rebirth because we did something unwholesome. Okay? We didn't understand the Four Noble Truth. So we took rebirth, and we took rebirth and became a human. And part of being human is subject to suffering and pain. So I'm in this boat. Same with y'all. Same with y'all. So it's like, that hurt really sucked. You hurt me. You hurt me so bad. I never want to come back here. I don't ever want to see you again. I love you, but I never want to see you again. I'm done. That would be nirvana, folks. That's the eyes on the prize. That's nirvana, right? So until this, so we reflect on that, because it's really deep. It's really deep, and it's very real with the hurt that we've been through in this life. And that's what wakes us up every morning. And that's what reminds us, I'm not going to gamble. I'm not going to kill. I'm not going to steal. I'm not going to sexual misconduct. I'm not going to do all these. Keep 5 precepts. The other emphasis on this practice that I neglect in the beginning of my teaching career was the emphasis on the precept, because I didn't want to give too much information and scare people. But in Laos, when the monk give the precept, which is a fan, right? They put like a fan in front of you. So I'm just gonna pretend the Buddha is my fan. But they're like, if they ask for the precepts and the monk gives the precept, which is Panatipata Veramani Sikapatan Samadhiyami, and then you all will repeat that, and then you all will repeat, number 2, Adinadana Veramani Sikapatan Samadhiyami. Okay. It was so beautiful, and they just keep on repeating themselves, and I'm like, okay, Ajahn, I think they all get it. And the homage to the Buddha, taking homage, taking refuge in the Buddha, the importance of taking refuge and giving up. What does that mean? It means that we don't know anything anymore. Start over. Don't matter if you got a PhD or don't have a PhD. Don't matter if you got a high school diploma or don't got it. I don't know Jack. I may know Tom, but I don't know Jack. It's very humbling to just admit to it. You just don't know Jack. And say that I'm going to take refuge in the Triple Gem, which is the Buddha, the teachings, and us, the monastic orders, the living teaching of the Buddha. And take the refuge and remind yourself of the refuge, that no matter what happens to you in life, and this point on forward, the Triple Gem will always be there for you. And most importantly, us, because we're still living and breathing. Okay, the Buddha already died. The teachings is there, but who's going to give the teachings? Well, us. Namo Sangha, the Sangha, will transmit and help you and be your wise friend. And in this tradition, teach for free. I teach for free, period. So, and if you think I'm scamming y'all, hang up and call the FBI. Tampa field office. Okay, I cannot ask you anything but a cup of water. That's my policy. That is 227 rules. That's the Vinaya. So, you take the refuge and you practice just like these people. So I'm replicating what I've seen in Laos, just because I went my route and I realized that my route was a little too easy and it didn't really emphasize on the things that they were practicing, and I'm like, well, if they're doing it better, maybe I should bring it back. So I've been quite of a little bit neglectful in emphasizing the precept, but keep the precept, because if you are engaged in drama, because the precept protects you from drama, you know, right? Because if you're gonna date and if you're gonna do all these foolish things, engage in entertainment, watching movies, being out with Karen, Tom, Dick, and Harry, drinking, well, you're not keeping the precept. You're playing lawyer in your head. The lawyer in your head says go out and party. You go out and you party, you get in trouble, and then they call you and they text you and they attach onto you and they cling onto you, and you got to get a restraining order. How are you gonna meditate? And then you call me and you're like, I can't meditate because I just got a restraining order on Tom. You got a restraining order because you didn't keep the precept. Okay, the links of dependent origination. Back to the rebirth thing. We took rebirth because you see how it works. Okay, okay, all right. So if you don't know what the 5 precept is, just put it in Google. 5 precept in Buddhism. And that's how you can progress in 6 months. I would confidently assert the intelligent students that I have hand selected. You're one of them, hand selected. Okay, because that's what we do. We screen, and then we're like, okay, she qualifies. Can enter Sotapanna in 6 months. Or a once returner. You gotta hit one or the two in 6 months with me. I assert confidently now in front of the whole world that my teaching is superior, and the way I teach is superior above certain countries. We're not going to say what, because they'll ban me from that country. But I tested these monks, and they failed my test, and they have 15, 20 years pansa. So I know that my teaching is superior in its effectiveness. So I know that in 6 months, you guys are treading that stage of enlightenment. It has to. It will. It just has to. We don't have a lot of time.
No.
Okay. So I invite you all to come back to it. Whoever dropped out of the program, this guy, guys, hundreds and thousands of y'all, come back to it, and we'll do it all over again. This is the cycle of birth and death. Birth of a thought, death of a thought, birth of an emotion, death of an emotion, but birth of a program, death of a program. Now we're restarting it back up. So we're giving birth to the program. we're gonna do it Laos style. All right, and we're gonna have fun with it, and we're going to attain what we need to attain, and we're gonna just deal with life. And it's gonna teach us. The teaching of the Buddha is gonna help us deal with life the way that it needs to be dealt with, and we will be at peace. We will be at peace. I will sleep good tonight. That's what we're going to tell ourselves. Because in order to sleep good, you have to be at peace. You can't be at peace if you don't keep the precept. You have to keep the precept to be at peace. If you're at peace, you sleep good at night. If you sleep good at night, you live long. If you live long, you look healthier and happier, and just enjoy the heaven of the kingdom is to be realized in the here and now. Mm-hmm. And we create our own hell and heaven here on earth.
Yep.
So let's do it together. It's like,
yes.
I know the how. I am a Ajahn Chah Dao. I know the how to create the heaven on earth. I've been through the hell, all right, and I went through the path to heaven. Okay, I have experienced the heaven on earth, and I'm teaching it to all of y'all. So we're in this together. So that's the embrace of this exciting journey. And it is. And if you are doubtful of what I'm saying, just look at Chiang Mai, look at Luang Prabang, just go to YouTube, just look at the arms rounds, and look at the Southeast Asian Theravadan countries, and y'all gotta ask, how come almost 800 million Buddhist followers around the world? Because it's working. They're tasting heaven right now as we speak. It's now 7. They're giving alms to monks right now at the time of this talk. It's now 7 a.m. They're giving alms right now. They're in nirvana right now, while all of us are sitting here thinking about how to pay bills. Right? But they're in enlightenment right now as we speak, and it's working. It's working with these. And who dares to say Southeast Asia is dumb, or they're delusional, or they don't know what they're doing, or they're like, they're in a cult, or whatever it is that we want to play lawyer with? No, folks. No, You know, let's pick on my country. Let's say Vietnam's dumb and ignorant and don't know what they're doing. Think again, because the table that you're sitting, we made that, made in Vietnam. The brother computers, you know, doctors' offices, lawyers got brother computers, a brother printers, made in Vietnam. Look right behind it. Unidens, whoever, truck drivers, CB radios, made in Vietnam. So we ain't dumb, folks. We ain't dumb. So again, so if these folks are not dumb and they're practicing Buddhism, wow, we should really look at how they're really creating heaven in their country, in their lives, individually. That's what we're replicating here. So that's what I'm helping all of us replicate here in the U.S.,
Yes.
where we're most unhappy, and you know, just all of the research have point that we're the richest but very unhappy, very uh, what's the word? Unhappy, unsatisfied, stressful. You know, so I think life's just too short to deal with this repeatedly, everyday, perpetual. So that's the joy of me, is that I can teach you how to go fishing. Okay, like bait, pole, shrimp, throw, done. But teaching you how to achieve peace is the greatest challenge of my life, and the happiest, greatest challenge of my life. Because once you all have achieved this peace that I'm talking about, you will never be the same.
No.
You will walk different, you will talk different, you will carry yourself in such a celestial, angelic angel beings that I've seen. And you know, in my debrief, I described this one monk.
Sorry.
I, I described this one monk in Luang Prabang, and I've never seen a human with that glow. And when we blessed the three Buddha statues back in the capital, this other monk in maroon robes, and he had this perfect posture of, he had this perfect posture. And I glanced at the posture and I realized that, oh, that's a saint. This kid was like, I'm sorry, he's not a kid, he's a venerable. He's like 20 years old. And I was like, well, he sat for at least 10 years. And that's, I've never seen a posture like that. I've never seen a posture like that. So when, of course, once again, I'm describing the apple that no one can taste. But I'm telling you, once you practice and you drain the bank account to go overseas and see some of these, rare enough to come across some of these sightings, and you feel their energy and presence, you'll never want to go back to your old life. You'll never want to go back to the foolishness that we've all been engaged in. And you realize that enlightenment is real and arahantship is real. And that's why I brought back Ajahn Mun and Ajahn Sod, to emphasize that. I mean, if sainthood was not real, they wouldn't go to this extent. But in bronze statues, of course, this is rubber and plastic in the same cloth clothing. I mean, in great details. But in Thailand, they make bronze statues, unless they're delusional, right? Unless they're ignorant, or unless they want to make believe, right? They're not, folks. They're not. They're very intelligent. But yeah, so so this reminds us that I brought this back for all of you to see that arahantship is real, and you can become one of these guys. And your life will never be the same ever again. Once you just glimpse some of these practices, and mindful and living mindfully, and what it truly means to be in the present moment. Okay? So in conclusion of today's talk, the only time a person is mindful is when they're in love. I'll leave it as that. Let that spin in your head. The only time you were ever mindful is when you were in love. And what does that mean? Your life, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, not mine. You know what happened when you were in enlightenment in those times, when you kissed each other, when you saw the little quirks and the little cute things that they did, and when they sneezed. Achoo! Oh my God, that was so cute. Damn it, Karen, you were in nirvana in those times that you were focusing on how he sneezed.
Mm-hmm.
From sneezing to farting, whatever you want to call it. Okay. But again, So that was enlightenment. So this is the closest thing to the perception and understanding of enlightenment for the general public, for the lay people. Okay, but anyway, I'm not gonna sit here and talk more about the apple that y'all tasted that apple. So um, I don't think I missed anything, and that's way too much information for a first-time student calling in. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me to clarify, or you can speak now, forever hold your peace.
I think that I'm good. My only question would be, you do so much for everybody else. So if there's something that I can do to help you, please let me know.
So at the current time, I am stable. So far, everyone knows I had to return back to work. Just because nobody donates, nobody donates, nobody wants to donate, nobody wants to know how to donate. So of course, well, I'm here with this young lady because that's one thing that she asked over and over again. See, this is one thing that I also look for is when a student asks over and over again, how do I give to you? What is it that you actually need that I can help? And that's how we know that student is special. Vipassana means to see in a special way. We to see, Vipassana in a special way. That's now you see why you are different. Now you see why you are special. And no different than the other 5 donors recently who donated $10, $25 onto my PayPal, because I'm raising funding for the monastery I was just at.
I see.
So the link tree is on my page, where you can make donations, and it goes directly at this point in time to Venerable Saidong's monastery called Wat Don Du. And have he text me back? Because I'm like, okay, I have money for you. I need to send it to you, MoneyGram or Western Union. I don't think he texted back to me. But if the opportunity exists for any one of y'all, and I'm a little excited for this because he's like, what day were you born? And I'm like, weird. But I'm donating money for myself. First of all, I'm leading by example by donating money for a window that they need because they're building another monastery. It's beautiful. And he's like, would you like a window? And I'm like, sure. Well, he's like, how? I'm like, well, how much? And he's like, well, it costs $250 for a hand carve. They're carving the window by hand in wood.
Huh?
But he's putting the name of the donor on the window. And I didn't know that he was going to put my name and my date of birth on there. So any one of you all who get a kick out of memorializing, or that memorializing thing that hospitals do, because those hospitals do that too. They have that wall of donors, and outside the monastery, the walls also have names and the year of the donor. So I really appreciate him doing that. I don't expect that. I don't ever expect being memorialized. I'm just a visitor. I'm gonna be gone. My teachings will be here, and then subsequently, I don't know, maybe through time, they'll all forget about me. I don't care. I just want to save as much as I can and move forward. But my policy is that number one, your bills need to be paid and satisfied. If you're struggling financially, don't make any donations. Okay, and only do so if you have that, if the opportunity exists. But right now, I've already suspended my programs because of my own lack of, fundings for the teen suicides. So, and then I took the retreat because I needed that retreat because I was disappointed that I couldn't raise enough money to continue. And then three students died under my watch while in my program. So I was on the verge of disrobing. I told everyone that. I communicated everything throughout the entire process because I took everyone with me along this path. I couldn't be more transparent about my life and my journey, right? And so everyone ignored, a privilege to know and a duty to act, and
Right.
the majority did not act. And I watched the last student die. It's such a horrific way. Well, actually, 4 students died because before the one girl died of overdose or drug, whatever. I couldn't even bear to ask more details just because I asked Luke and I knew this family for 10 years. And I said, how did your sister die? And he said drugs. And I stopped, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be at the funeral, but I'm not going to officiate the funeral, because I don't, unless you want to see a monk breakdown that the world has ever seen in this funeral home. So when you saw that on TikTok, you saw me holding the phone, filming my teachers officiate I just couldn't do it. And before that, the male student in Texas that died, the mother called me, and the mother said, they're fighting again. Okay, but it's 7 years they're married and they've been fighting. The kid, it was a Army veteran, handsome looking kid, have a child with his wife. They're fighting 7 years later. And I'm like, you call me every year. It's been the 7th year. You're gonna bring him in for counseling because he's gonna do something foolish. 1 week later, he stepped out of the car during an argument and got hit by another car and got hit by like 5 more cars because they thought that he was debris.
Ugh.
And I grew up with this kid's brother, Randy. I couldn't tell you, my heart shattered in so many places on the floor that night to hear that story. And to The Heart of a Monk, that will be the next book that I write. The Heart of a Monk. And the mom says, can you come see him? And I'm like, I literally did not, I couldn't even have like $400 in my, I didn't have at least $400 in my, I'm not going to sit there and say how much money, I'm not going to lay out, I told her, like, I don't have the means right now to travel to Texas to intervene. And everybody knows 6-7 months ago, I was activated to go to Ohio to save an entire family and 3 kids on the verge of suicide. But the father was an engineer, and he was able to afford immediately a plane ticket for me to go. And I had to suspend what was going on here in Gulfport. And I'm like, I know hundreds of y'all were waiting for me to talk. I got to do this. I have a week to save this whole family. 5 people. I got 3 kids right now. So I'm also going to have to justify that next on the 28th when I go down to Gulfport. It's going to be like 500 people waiting for me down there. But yeah, so but when just think of the money not being there for this to happen. These kids had pills in their backpack. They were caught with pills, and they were going to carry out into the details of their suicide. So anyway, I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm 37 years old. I very tenacious at battling suicide, but so I had to suspend that. And right now, I haven't had any suicide cases since coming back, and I hope I don't catch any. But I think right now I just want to distract myself with the joy of helping this monastery. And of course, into the details of the monastery is that they also serve as an orphanage.
Oh.
And I featured Novice Din and his mom. He lost his dad. Novice Din is this adorable kid, adorable monk, adorable novice, 10-year-old. The father died. The abbot took him in, and the mother just abandoned him like he was trash. Because I don't want to give identifying information just because I don't want it to come back to me. I'm gonna go to Laos and I'll be like, well, no visa for you. You shared a little too much about people here. But they abandoned the kid. That was disheartening. So, and then stories emerged towards my departure of how a lot of these novices are orphans, came from single parent homes. It's a third world country. My own water in my own bathroom looked like green tea. So what money do they have for food and clean access to water? I'm surprised I didn't catch anything there, just for my own safety. But so that's where the money's going. The money goes to a monastery that affords food and medicine and clothes. They don't even have robes there. The novices look at. I don't think people who are watching right now notices how dirty the lower garments were, because they had to like paint the monastery and work, and dirt and sand and stains were on it. So when they travel with me, a visiting monk, that's all they had was robes that was like discolored and it has stains on them. And then I sat there and put it all together, and I'm like, robes were manufactured in Thailand. They have to ship from Thailand to Laos. Laos have to buy it at an exorbitant amount of money because of the distance that is far away.
Mm-hmm.
So when I left, I had one pair of robes, which was the one and only that was on my body. I left 4 robes behind for them. And I'm like, I'm not taking this back because you all definitely need it. Um, so then, these are some of the basic requisites that I saw, that I witnessed. And I invite anyone to go to Wat Don Do, book a ticket overnight tomorrow, and see if I'm lying. If I'm lying, call the state attorney general's office. I'll go to prison for the rest of my life. Look at their robes. Look at their undergarments when they're sweeping out there. You realize, wow. So right now, I just want to raise as much money as I can for them, because I think that's true joy right there, to witness that, to
Yes.
see that, and to realize that we're raising children that is not our own, but the children that we're raising are novices and monks, and they're going to become the future of the Theravadan order.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and to sit there and to realize that our $5 buys them medicine, our $5 buy them gas to go to school 40 minutes away from Wat Don Do. It's just little small things that we're able to do.
Yes.
That's I like so much joy.
Yes.
That's how we sleep at night. That's how we sleep good at night. No matter how crappy your day is, the fact that your $5 went to Don Do, Wat Don Do, and to Novice Din, and I just want to just cry. Just the fact that the money is so great, the dollar is so great in Kip.
Right.
KI is I think it's 3. No, it's 2 million Kip is $100.
Wow.
And that stretches a very long mile. So yeah, and I really want to come back. I'm gonna beg my dad to buy me another ticket to come back, and I'm gonna grab all of my robes and I'm gonna go back there. And I just want to live with him. I want to teach like I did when I was there, and I want everyone to save up money to come see me and practice there with me. And like I said, they have all of the things that we need for enlightenment, especially the crematory.
Yes.
The crematory, the novices, embracing the new temple. It just brings so much joy. So I get really excited when I talk about my trip. But sorry, I took a little too long in explaining the fundings. But this is the comprehensive understanding of the fundings.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions in regards to the recommendations of today?
I don't think so. I think I know where to get started, and I'll communicate with you on email, and we'll get things set up to talk. And I will not disappoint you.
It's okay, and I think everyone should know that it's okay if you do fall off the wagon and you fall off the swing. Imagine all of us on a swing and somebody falls off and is like, how did you fall off? That on this path you will fall, and you will fall off the swing and fall off the wagon. What does that mean? That means you will break a precept. You do all these minor and foolish things because life happens, and it's okay. Just be honest with me, and we can fix it. We can fix it very quickly. I am not going to condemn you. My job is to be a compassionate, understanding, and encouraging teacher. And as the day passes by, I become more encouraging. I become more patient and more enduring, comparable to in the years of yesteryears. I think in the years of, when I started as a very fiery monk because I didn't know how to be the teacher. Like, it's very hard being a teacher of this tradition because you have to be like strict, disciplined, but at the same time loving and kind, so that there's a middle balance and middle way.
Mm-hmm.
But what I witnessed during my trip makes me a more patient teacher and a more understanding teacher and less uh,
Rigid?
less grumpy. And yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because you all have to understand and have compassion for me, because I do have this desire for people, and it does cause me suffering. Yeah, I do have this desire, this desire of liberating as much as I can
Mm-hmm.
in a short time that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So and at times it is disappointing to see beautiful human beings fall off the wagon, and sometimes they fall hard, and sometimes they fall a little too far away from my reach, and I know that life is happening to them, and it's hard from sometimes it is hard for me to let go of certain individuals, just because I'm like, you were so close, you were you were so close to graduating. And I sit with that, you know. And what I learned from a John Don was that people come and they go, and we can only do the best that we can. So I've learned that as I sat, you know, as I was there for 2 weeks, I watched so many monks come and go, and I'm like, wow, man, you know, I'm trained to see their true capacities, and I'm like, well, I wish they stayed a little longer,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just, you know, again, I hope to appeal to intelligent and wise students that once you dedicate on this, try to just keep it with me as long as you can, and attain it, because I am trying to make it as fun as possible and easy to attain. It's me. G means intelligence, and Dao means the way. So I'm trying to figure out the most intelligent way we all can move about this 84,000 teachings in like 6 months.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the challenge for all of you, is to try to do it in 6 months with me, you know, because that's all the time that I probably have before I'm being asked to, like, you know, be somewhere in the world or be somewhere in Seattle, Washington, and all these places that is on the list. But yes, I appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate your commitment to it. It's a joy to see the eyeballs light up. Um, and if we don't get there, then we got close. We were one step closer. You know, even if you don't
Mm-hmm.
graduate this program, the least we can say, right, is that, well, she knows the first. At least she knows the first noble truth,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or the third or half of the noble eightfold path. At least we got that far. And one day when the time is right, she'll come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
They will always come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
There is no other comprehensive and effective educational system such as Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
So we know you're going to come back to it.
Yeah.
So I hope to live long enough when you do come back. So I'd like to conclude tonight's talk. I know it's you've been sitting there for a while, and everyone else has been very patient and wonderful listeners. Um, and reflect on today's talk and teaching. And my email will be open, and my phone will be open, and you just shoot it, because the thought will come. Just put it on the phone and just shoot it, and I'll get back with you like we did today.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, my blessing to you. So let's put our hands together for a blessing for all of us. Yatha varivaha pura paripurenti sakarang evumewa ito dinang petanang upakapati ichitang patitang tumhang kipamewa samachatu sabe purentu sankapachando panyaso yatha manicho diraso yatha sabi tiyo vivanchan tusa parogo vinashatumate bhavanto antarayo suki di hayuko pava abhiwandana sile Sanichang Buddha Bajanino Chattaro Thamma Vatandia Yuano Sokang Palang. May you all be well, be happy, be free, and always be healthy. May you reflect on today's teaching. May you reflect on what the Dhamma can do for you and for others. May all of you be healed and be a significant source of healing for other people. May you realize the light of your own true nature. May you realize that the light that you are and how easy that light can shine through the darkness of our world today. May you reflect on this great gift of the Dhamma, the gift that excels any other gifts in the world, the gift of knowledge, the gift of the truth, of the Four Noble Truths, and how liberating it can be for us and for all. May you be healed and be a significant source of healing for other people. And until the next time, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you.
Okay, young lady, I hope to hear from you soon, and we'll work out the details. And I will send. After we hang up, I'm gonna find the sources in my email, and I'm going to forward the Four Noble Truths to you, and just have fun with it. Just have fun with it. Yeah. And I'll find.
I appreciate your time.
No problem. I'll find the link to the book somewhere, hopefully on Thrift Books, if not Amazon, and I'll compile that in the email and try to shoot it all in one email for you and for all. So for all who've been sitting here and waiting. So yeah, be exciting journey, and it'll refresh all my memory onto the basics. All right. Have a good night, Miss J.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Okay. I think everyone is observing me. That's what I am doing here real quick. Let me check my email because I know while we were having this talk, a bunch of emails came in to number one Vietnamese interpreter at Gmail. So I got, okay. All right. So I got some emails here. And now I'm going to compile Four Noble Truth. Let me see if it'll come up. I'm pretty good at this. Forward Four Noble Truth. Boom. Right here. So we have it. I'm just going to verify the link, make sure it's good. The link is still good. The link is still good. So I copy this. Okay, and I just want to go over my notes. And I just want to make sure that I think I once compiled a list. It was loving kindness meditation. It was all sorts of goodies in there. And all I had to do was just click on these links and everything came out. So I just wanted to just have that list again. And this is like I should use technology for effectiveness and efficiency of the delivery of these prescriptions, spiritual prescriptions. So y'all just bear with me real quick. Sent. And maybe it was titled under meditation. Meditation practice. What is? Okay. Not sure. Four Noble Truths. Metta. Maybe loving kindness meditation. CBT. Okay. Well, I think I should just, okay, right now, because I can't find that list. Let me go back to my notes. Sacred text. If I can't find it, then it's also a good thing, because as we progress on the Four Noble Truths, and and there, everything is methodical. The Buddha left us a whole checklist. So the fact that if I cannot compile all of it at once, so the good thing and the bad thing, right? The pros and cons is that if I give it all to you at once, that's what you would do. You would satisfy your hunger for knowledge, and then you'd be all over the place. Then when I ask you about the Four Noble Truth, you'd be probably wrong on certain elements, so it's not like on point. If I just give you the Four Noble Truth, then you're just focusing on that one and just master that one thing. So that's the pros and cons of what's happening tonight. Um, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm just going to just do that. Just send the Four Noble Truths. Because that, I'm telling you, 84,000 teaching compresses just that. So let's do one step at a time. Okay, I think the modern day human just needs that right now, one step at a time. Thank you for writing to me, consistent with my recommendation on all of my social media platform for tonight. Please just focus on the Four Noble Truth right here in this link. And also, if you have any question, please do not hesitate to email me or text me directly at 727-637-3490. Boom, done. Bam. All right, and boom, send. Yeah, and then I just copy this and I just paste. Love it. Copy and go back to Miss J. Here she is. Reply again. Copy, paste. Boom, done. Done. Ta-da. All right, so that's that. All right, I've done my job. Anyone are interested in the program and everything here, you all can visit my link tree or on YouTube, Ajahn Chi Dao on YouTube. Or you can just Google me, Venerable Chi Dao, TRIDAO, and get on this path with us. I like to conclude my night. I can't believe it's only 7 and it's that dark outside already. Yeah, it's a good time to conclude my night. Should not sit here and give more teachings. It's been almost 2 hours, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, 2 hours. All right, champion. I need to get with Ajahn Don right now. I gotta go Western Union him right now. He's so excited. I'm so happy for that monastery. So, anyways, for all of you who wants to donate to help the monastic order, or Wat Don Do, who I'm affiliated with in raising money for them to build this monastery over there right now. Every dollar counts. Again, 100 US dollar is equivalent to 2 million KIPs. And I can't wait for that monastery to come to fruition and for all of us to visit the monastery. You guys can donate by visiting my link tree on my primary page. It's all over my social media, all over Instagram, Facebook, all of that. So again, people who wants to give, trust me, they will find it. It's not hard. It's not hard getting in contact with me, and it's not hard donating. So, but I just want everyone to just excited for that rejoicing of seeing this monastery into fruition. I've always talked about, and my t-shirt program says on the back of it, it says, help us create a new world. And we're literally creating a new world right now at Wat Don Do, just to see it come to fruition and the rejoicing of all of the novice monks there and the novice and the monks there. It was just, that's a unique email. Maybe I answered this question too. That just came in. Lars. All right. So I spoke about, creating a new world, and literally here we are creating one monastery at a time, and it starts with Wat Don Do. So I can't wait for you all to save up money and just go to Laos, just go to Wat Don Do, know what I'm talking about, just the things that I experienced there at the monastery and how that monastery will always be there for us. So very just awesome feeling. Okay, so I'd like to conclude my talk for tonight. maybe let me just answer this one because it just came in whilst I was talking. Oh, I think we have another one here with Johnny. Oh man, really good ones here. Okay, so after 2 hours, I lose my air, but let's get these two out of the way. Okay, Laura sent me an email and it said, "Can I be forgiven for the spider I may have killed?" Question mark. Never had an email like this. In my defense, he surprised me by bringing on my bed when I was about to go to sleep. I flung him with a piece of mail. All right. So the workings of karma is this: the only time you are charged with murder in accordance to the law of cause and effect, which is karma, is if you willfully, knowingly, and intentionally killed that sentient being. Okay, like you knew what you were doing. Okay, like, and you know why you're doing it. Okay, this sentence constitutes a human reaction. It's a spider. We were designed to be afraid of spiders and snakes and all these little critters just because, it's like it can kill us. We know that certain spiders can kill us and snakes can kill us. So that's why we freak out and we kick them and we kill them. And by the time we're done killing them, we realize the whole time we didn't know what we were doing. Okay. So Lars, obviously you freaked out just like the rest of us, and even me. I mean, my goodness, if I was like sleeping and something crawled on me and it felt like furry, and I woke up and there's a spider, and I have, oh my god, y'all should have seen the spider that was in my room at Wat Don Do. Oh, this thing was like this big, and I tried to shoo him away. I'm like, okay, please go, and I prayed for him to go, and I'm like, listen, the bathroom's right there, and there's a hole underneath the bathroom for you to escape. That's where the water drains when we take a shower. Please go out that way. So so yeah, it's okay. So but for anyone who have killed by accident or have killed intentionally and didn't know the law of cause and effect, how do we make our life better afterwards? And the word forgiveness and repent and doing more good and less harm is by giving more and taking less. um and to practice merit release, by freeing other sentient beings, who are captive, such as birds and fish and all these critters that they captured. So you buy them, you let them go. Um, Obviously, domesticated critters and so on. And Johnny sent me a public message question. Please speak why it is wrong to get Buddha tattooed on the body. My original stance was I'd rather you have a tattoo of the Buddha and it reminds you of the Buddha and his teaching than a Glock or a Smith and Wesson on your skin. Um, but then when I came across Thailand and they were very like adamant, very strict on this, was the body is impure, is not worthy and deserving of the image of the Buddha on the body, and that we have to respect. So I'm kind of like stuck in the middle. If I impose my beliefs, they'll ban me from the country. They'll ban me from their country. Uh, so that's why you have to be culturally informed of why you get it and where you're at while it's on there. No one's ever publicly called me out. Yes, I'm back in Florida. I've been back for 2 weeks. There's a monastery in Jacksonville that is inviting me. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be in Jacksonville. I may go there so that I can also see you in the Panhandle. It's Alex, one of my longtime student and assistant. So no one, when I gave my talk and reasoning behind my policy and my view about the tattoo thing, no one ever publicly told me that I was wrong. And I was on point with all of my teachings over the past 9 years. And my position on the tattoo is that when a person get a tattoo of an image of a Buddha, okay, so I think this is most appropriate. Get a tattoo of the Noble Eightfold Path because it is in replacement for the Buddha statue and it is less offensive. Bam! I hit it on the spot. Okay. Oh, I don't have the image of the Noble Eightfold Path, the wheel, the Noble Eightfold Path wheel. So if you Google the Noble Eightfold Path wheel, that is what you would get tattooed on. All right. So then it's not the Buddha. And then they can't blame you. But my original stance was if people have tattoos of the Buddha, it advertises Buddhism. No. Even killers who have tattoos of the Buddha changed because they realized the teaching, what it can do for them. They just change individual. Oh, I'm getting exhausted. Oh, just from talking. My God. Um, and all right, let's pause there. I'm losing breath, air, and train of thoughts. I got messages coming in. So all right, so please forgive me for not completing my sentences tonight. I'm very spiritually old. 37, I'm like 80 in my head. All right, so let's go. Y'all can send the questions to my email or Facebook Messenger, and I'll get to it when the time is right. I think it's been a very long day. I love every single one of you all, and I love all of your questions. I just right now don't have the human energy to entertain them. Um, so that's funny. Someone put I'm 80 in my body. I'm telling you, Sam is like novice Lee. He's 80 in his body. I'm telling you. I gotta call him too. All right. So may you all be well, be happy, be free, and always be healthy until the very next time. Thank you for being patient and thank you for being with all of us here tonight in studying and hearing the recommendations on Buddhism. So again, I'm all on all social media platforms out there. So get with me, and I can't wait to meet each and every single one of you. Okay, take care.